Hi, Bravehearts. Welcome to this week's Joy Stream. I'm Janelle O'Ryan, erotic wellness practitioner and advocate and educational porn star. Just a reminder, there's no teaching, there's no preaching. I just share what's alive for me in this embodied, erotic, wild, galactic life that I live, which can be marked by my wings. This bodysuit is from a friend of mine. She gave it to me. I don't know where she got it from, so there's not going to be any links. But I wore it this weekend for a couple different events, and I got so many compliments, including at the grocery store. There's something about wearing something unexpected that brings joy to people who see me. So here I am in my angel wings, and I hope they spark something inside of you and potentially give you permission to wear something a little bit unexpected. So speaking of unexpected, my Just Say Yes this week is about animal psychics. As you know, I've been living with Barb and her dog Katie, who was diagnosed with lymphoma almost 3 months ago and was given 3 months to live. And Barb has a friend who she's worked with for many, many years who calls herself an animal communicator and healer, who is able to talk to the dog. And Barb would give her a list of questions. What level of pain are you in? Where do you want to spend most of your time? Is there anything uncomfortable? When are you ready to go? I mean, very specific, direct questions. And we would get the answers. Katie was my beginner dog. And now I have no idea how anyone has a dog and doesn't have a psychic to go with it. So just giving you this tip in case you've never heard of it and something to consider. Because I will tell you, getting Katie's feedback really helped guide Barb in some of her decision making. So my Just Say No this week feels a little vulnerable to share. It has to do with a conversation that I had with my brother about having used up all of the money from the big donation that I received to help start up Dream Bigger, the erotic wellness worldwide company that includes OnlyFans and it includes making erotic wellness a household term. And my dad had offered to donate some money as well in order to help me cover the bills this month. My brother was very surprised that I had used all that money. He asked me where his sister that he'd known his whole life had gone, the one who used to be super responsible, who would balance budgets down to the penny for everything, never went into debt. And I felt his judgment. And I also understood it. I understood that who I am today doesn't compute with the sister he knew in the past. And I also understand that the way I'm making decisions and living my life. In fact, he said, tell me about your business plan and don't use the word feel and don't use the word universe. I have to say, I actually felt so seen by him when he said that. And I get it. I feel sometimes that I'm an ambassador from the future, bringing the future to the present. So it doesn't make sense. I'm breaking all of the rules. And I know that. And it doesn't make sense for people who are living by the rules and by everything we've been taught, especially when it comes to money. But I didn't ignore what he said. I listened to it. I reflected on it and thought, oh, would I have made any decisions any differently than I did? And there are some things, right? There's a few hours of people I'm going to end up reducing. But other than that, I feel really confident in the path that I'm walking and the decisions that I'm making and the decisions that I've made up until now. And I also really felt his love for my dad, his love for me. And so despite his judgment, his frustration, his accusations, I didn't collapse. I stood in my center, knowing that I am walking the path that's true for me. And by just saying no to collapsing through others' judgment, a new idea downloaded of how to pay the bills this month. And I feel that's the lesson. Can we actually just stay centered so that more energy, ideas can flow through for what we're here to do? My just say yes is to living life as ritual. This weekend really highlighted it for me kind of in a big way. Friday night, friends held a party for Lammas, which is Lammas. It is one of the Time Lord celebrations that's part of the Celtic pagan calendar. It's the holiday that falls between the summer solstice and the fall equinox. So it's typically around August 1st. And it marks the very first harvest of the wheat and abundance of the season. So we celebrated that Friday night with bread and community and dancing. On Saturday is when we put Katie down and we had a vet come here to the Goddess Temple, and Barb had done a ritual with Katie the night before. We did a ceremony, and it was so graceful and so gentle and so beautiful. Obviously, so much grief and sadness too. It's not that common that we get to be planning and have a ritual for death. So I felt really blessed to be witness to that and to witness Katie's crossing over. And then on Sunday was the blessing of life. We did Sophie's baby blessing, and she wanted to honor not just herself and this baby goddess, but honor womanhood. And we ended up doing rites of passage initiations for all the women and girls who were there through each of the phases that each of us identified with. So that included the magical child, the maiden, the mother, the wild woman, and the crone. And my just say yes was not just living life as ritual, but living life as ritual in community, which every day this weekend I got to experience. And my just say wow has to do with OnlyFans and the profundity of what we are creating. This week, we had 2 guest stars staying with us. So across 2 days, we filmed 3 scenes with 4 people. We were each of a different decade. We were different races. We were different genders. We were different sexual orientations. And what we filmed was the genuine emergence that came through the collective desires and boundaries of each of us. We were also strangers. No one knew more than 2 others. We were able to drop into such deep intimacy so quickly because we did the RBDSM conversation to start. We all have a shit ton of experience in the erotic world and in the personal growth world. And we also were all turned on by the idea of being in our pleasure in service to the collective. It was really wow on so many levels. And so for those of you who watch the OnlyFans, I'm excited for you to get to check that out. And for those of you who don't want to watch OnlyFans, not to worry, I am building a new platform where these videos will live and you can purchase them just one-off, just on a regular website. So stay tuned for that. And last thing is tomorrow being today, August 6th, is at noon Mountain Time is the next Braveheart Circle. It's online. So if anyone is interested, I recommend that you join us. It's a 75-minute call, and we just share what's on our heart with each other. And we may be strangers on the call, but I assure you that intimacy and connection can occur at a really deep level in a surprisingly short amount of time. So I welcome all of you to join there. That's probably in just a few hours from now. The link is in the description. Thank you, Bravehearts. See you next week.